Mr. President, I also rise to support the bipartisan Ayotte-Peters amendment to authorize bilateral research and development with Israel on anti-tunnel capabilities. I appreciate Senator Ayotte's efforts to work together on this critical matter of national security. Israel remains our closest ally in the Middle East, and this amendment will further our shared cooperation to increase security for both Americans and Israelis. Our ally, Israel, faces significant threats from underground tunnels built by terrorists intent on murdering innocent Israelis. Hamas and Hezbollah threaten Israel with an extensive network of sophisticated tunnels which are used to smuggle weapons and carry out kidnappings and attacks against Israeli citizens. And these are not simple tunnels dug by hand with shovels. These tunnels cost millions of dollars and are built with thousands of tons of concrete. Often they are built using resources intended for humanitarian purposes in Gaza that are instead diverted to terrorist activity. They are constructed with machinery designed to avoid detection. And in some cases, Hamas has filled the tunnels with provisions to last several months. The Israeli Defense Forces called the tunnels underneath Gaza an underground city of terror. Bomb attacks from tunnels dug by terrorist organizations are a growing threat to forward-deployed U.S. forces and our diplomatic personnel abroad as well. Terrorists carry out these attacks by digging tunnels underneath the target and detonating explosives. Earlier this week, the publication Defense One reported that now ISIS is also using tunnel bombs as a tactic, detonating at least 45 tunnel bombs in Iraq and Syria over the last 2 years. We face threats from tunnels on American soil as well. Our own Border Patrol and law enforcement on the southern border are up against drug smugglers, human traffickers, and other global criminal organizations using tunnels to sneak drugs, weapons, and people across our border illegally. I serve on the Homeland Security Committee and understand the threat that our Border Patrol agents and law enforcement face from transnational criminal organizations using tunnels along our southern border. These criminals flow to the path of least resistance, and as our border security efforts address one threat, they seek other methods to avoid detection and continue their criminal activity. When the U.S. Border Patrol blocked drug smugglers and human traffickers from utilizing existing drainage tunnels, the criminals began digging their own tunnels. We need to stay ahead of these threats, and that is why we must conduct critical research and development so we can detect and destroy these dangerous tunnels. This amendment will authorize joint research and development with Israel on anti-tunnel capabilities. This joint approach will help us work together on research and development against this shared threat. The amendment requires Israel to share in the cost of this research and provides a framework for sharing intellectual property developed together before action is carried out. This amendment would allow the Department of Defense to work with Israel to develop a capability that will be used to protect our homeland and our troops abroad, as well as those of our ally. This amendment will make clear that joint research and development on anti-tunnel capability can and should be part of our security cooperation with Israel. It will also send a strong message that the Senate recognizes the threat posed by tunnels intended for attacks against Israel, as well as this cooperation will help us secure our own borders as well. I urge all my colleagues to support the Ayotte-Peters Amendment number 1628.